Hey, what's up? It's John Samuel, and welcome to All Access. Today is a very special episode because we've been gone for so long, and I'm glad to have Anagha Puranik here today to be our first guest back. What's up, Anagha?
Hey John, I'm so excited to be on.
No, I'm excited to have this conversation with you. And, right before we got on, you were talking about how, you know, what to expect. And I was saying,
hmm
this is to me just like a conversation that you and I have um, on the regular basis. It's just you and I talking, and I'm excited to share that because I think you and I have some wonderful conversations, and I love your perspective. And so, do you mind sharing a little bit about yourself so that our audience can learn more about you?
Yeah, sure. My name is Anagha. I'm going to be a senior in high school starting this August.
Woohoo!
And so, yeah, I've pretty much grown up in like a very much like a healthcare family. Like both my grandparents and my dad have been very like involved in that space. So, kind of the value of helping others has just been with me for like my whole life basically. It's something that was very like pushed on me. And so over quarantine, I saw my mom actually used to work at LCI. And so throughout the quarantine, especially in lockdown, I would like see her work and I got super interested in like the work that she was doing. And then kind of as we started to go back in person, I would like help her out at job fairs or like I would go to the Vision Walk, which I recently attended. And I would just like help her out and see kind of what she does, how LCI is as a company. And then last summer, I got connected with you, John, and
Mm.
it's really great. I mean, you've definitely opened up like a lot of opportunity for me. And I also got to volunteer at the I Retreat too, which is another incredible experience. And yeah, I'm just like keeping that journey forward and like trying to learn as much as I can.
Yeah, no, I love it because I think your perspective of wanting to help and your passion for this this topic of accessibility and disability inclusion, in particular the vision loss, is something that resonates with me. And so meeting you and seeing your interest in this and trying to help you get more exposure to it has been really exciting. And you give me new, having these kind of conversations with you gives me new ideas as well. So I think we're both gaining from this relationship. And
Yeah.
so I'm really excited about it, and I love your just go get it attitude, right? Because you're hungry, and it's something. It's funny. My dad taught me about hunters and farmers, and hunters that go out and get it, and farmers ones who wait for opportunities. And you definitely are on the hunting side of going out and figuring out ways. And so you've been working with me. Kind of, we've been having these conversations for over a year, and so what has been something that's really kind of like changed your perspective of that you've learned around vision loss and opportunities for people?
Yeah, I think just like working in accessibility so far has really taught me to be like so much more empathetic and like understanding other people's stories and how other people, I guess, view the world differently than I do. And
Mm.
also just like seeing it's been especially cool to do like sighted testing and things like that because it's really interesting to see like how a screen reader works or how things of that nature, how different accessible technology really works to help aid another person. That's been really cool because that's been something I've never really experienced or had the opportunity to experience just in my education so far. So I think really just those two like taught me to be more mindful about things that I do and just really like opened me up to like a whole new like world.
Yeah. One thing that you did was you like I remember when you messaged me, you're like, "Hey, I took the trusted tester." Can you share what the trusted tester is and kind of what that experience was for you and what drove you to do it?
Yeah, so the Trusted Tester is a web accessibility certification that you can do. And so it's kind of set up, you can log in through, there's a portal you can log in through, and yeah, it's just set up through different modules and it's kind of go at your own pace. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it should be 90 hours, but I kind
Hmm.
of just did it like slowly at my pace through recent spring. And I really just wanted to get that certification because I heard about it through you, John, last summer, and I thought, oh, that's pretty interesting. And as I got more interested in accessibility, I thought that would be a super interesting thing to accomplish, not only just to like say that I've done it, but to also just have that experience under my belt.
Yeah, for sure. And not only is that, you heard about this in my discussions, you went and did it, but there's another program you heard about that I talked about and you did something about it. Can you talk about your experience with District C?
Yeah, so last summer I heard John talk about District C, and so searched it up, I googled it, I was pretty interested in what they did.
Can
So
you
I
what is
again
District C, by the way?
Oh,
Yeah.
District C.
Yeah.
They're kind of this school sort of training like program. Well, specifically, they do teamship, which is sort of this. They bring in different small businesses, and they bring in different like students from the county that they conducted in. So in my case, it was Wake County. So they brought in a bunch of kids from Wake County, all ages, like from in high school, and there's four people to one business, and the whole point of the program is to solve a problem that the business may have. So I think Abler was a part of it a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And I had the opportunity, it was a 2 week long program, and I was in a group of four people, and we just solved this business problem for this business, Zoe. And it was really cool to see because I think the business owner actually is like implementing the idea that we created. And it's really cool to see how much like we as like just four high schoolers had an impact on this business. And it was really cool. It made me feel like I had like an impact and like we were doing something that would help them because they had a really cool platform, and it was really cool that we had the opportunity to help them.
No, for sure. It is really cool. And after you and I had that conversation, after you finished your 2 week teamship program with District C, and you shared that feedback about how it made you feel that this business leader was taking your guidance and advice into action, it made me think about the teamship project I took part in as uh, a business leader in providing a problem to my teamship teams. And I reached out to them because Abler Works, the original foundation of it, was worked on by students from UNC who came up with a game plan, a business plan for us to implement this. And I reached out to them to just give them a heads up and like, hey, thank you so much, and to give them an update on where we were. And I hope that they have that same appreciation that you do because I'm so thankful to them. But I hope they feel that they did make an impact and in the work that we're doing and what you're working.
Yeah.
You enjoyed that time at District C, and I think what I'm most proud of with you is that your initiative, right? You're about something, you go and do it. You got that can-do attitude. And so, as you're finishing up, you're going into your senior year in high school. What are some things that you're looking forward to, you know, moving forward?
Yeah, so I'm currently in the college application process. So I hope to, apply, go to a 4 year university after college. I plan on staying in state, so UNC and NC State are my top choices.
Okay.
But other than that, I really just hope to keep this perspective of accessibility in mind. I remember you telling me this was a while ago. This is like like when we really first met, and it was like you told me that it's not important if you go into something accessibility after you graduate, but it's about having that perspective and like just having that mindfulness in mind when throughout whatever you do. And that just really stuck with me. And that kind of, I guess, increased my interest in this field because you're so right. It is about
Hmm.
like not necessarily if I go into accessibility, but having that career to have that mindfulness to do changes even in the workplace that I end up in to be more accessible and create like a more inclusive workplace.
Yeah. See, audience, if anyone's there, you get it. You get why Anagha is a rock star and why I'm so proud of her and what she does. Because it's that type of attitude. It gives me hope that, what we're doing today is going to be taken on even further with people like Anagha. Because, you get it. And I think you really get it and you're putting into action. And that's why I get so excited to have those conversations with you. Because a lot of times I'm talking to folks in the workforce and they don't even get it the way that you're getting it. And great mindset that you have and perspective, and I'm really excited about where you're going to take this. And you know as you start to think about you know your college career and you going into college, what do you think other folks in you know your peers, what do you think some of the misconceptions or stigmas that they have about accessibility or disability inclusion? And what do you think we can do to help change the mindsets of folks in that generation to be able to be um, leaders of change in the future?
Yeah, I think it just really doesn't have to be a very big movement. I think just starting off small is like the biggest, I think makes the biggest difference. I mean, if you see someone who's visually impaired, I don't think it hurts to ask them like, "Hey, like is there anything I can do to help you or is there anything that I can do that will make your day go by a little easier?" And just I guess learning about other people and just learning about what they go through, their perspective. It goes back to the idea of empathy. And then
Hmm.
also just like, I guess doing small changes, like an idea that I had was like a PowerPoint. If you are creating PowerPoint and you are adding images, just thinking of the fact of creating alt text. So it could just be more accessible to other people. But I really think just like connecting with other people is like the biggest way to make change and not feeding into assumptions or just being scared of being like offensive.
Yeah.
Just like really just talking to people, I think is the one of the best things.
Yeah, that's something I talk a lot about is like, accessibility isn't about a line of code, it's about people, right?
Yeah.
It's people to people conversation, people first perspective. And that's right. Having those conversations and not being fearful of saying the wrong thing, but being willing to have that conversation and ask people, what can I do to have, is there anything I'm here to support?
Mhm.
And that's a really good mindset that you have. You know, Another thing that you talked about volunteering in the during the I retreat. Can you talk about? I think you taught a class this time, right?
Mhm.
How was that experiencing, and what were you teaching about?
Yeah, so my journey at the art retreat really started as like one of my mom's coworkers was volunteering there. So I just decided, oh, like I'm free this summer. I might as well just spend 1 week volunteering. And I guess I wasn't really expecting how much I would enjoy that experience. I made so many new friends with the people that like I'm connected, like I still connect with them today. And so it just like brought me to a new community that I would never have like met otherwise to the art retreat. And I think the thing about the IRT is that there's so many like good conversations that are had, especially with people who are visually impaired and in the workforce, trying to mentor, I guess, other students who are trying to, I guess, go with their college careers or even
Hmm.
start a job themselves. There's just a lot of really good conversations that happen there. And this year I did teach a class. It was a study skills class as like I am in high school. So I thought that I had some good wisdom to
Hmm.
impart on that. And yeah, it was really cool just seeing how
Yeah.
people engaged in conversation, especially during my class. Like people would give tips about how they, I guess, use their screen reader to do better in classes or how they talk to disability services on campus to gain like accommodations that will support them.
Yeah, I mean, self advocacy is such a big thing, right? And to be
Yeah.
able to communicate and advocate for yourself to get the support and services that you need to be successful is really important. And it's something that I struggled with for so many years. So it's really cool that you had that experience working with those high school students to help them, develop and grow that skill. Because I think it is a skill to be able to self advocate.
Yeah, I think self-advocacy is, like, really important. It was a big, like it was really hit hard on during that week that if you don't advocate for yourself, then there's gonna be no one else to really do it for you, and so, yeah, it's really important just to really speak for what your needs are, whether you're, like, visually impaired or not. Just gaining the confidence to be able to talk to someone and say, "Oh, this is what I need help with. I need some support with this," whether that be, like, a test or just anything in general was really,
Yeah.
like, was really insightful.
Yeah, for sure, right? Because confidence is something we all need, and sometimes, you may try. Sometimes you just need to be able to ask somebody for some type of support or get what you need to be build that confidence. So yeah, you're right. It's not just a blind thing; it's an everybody thing.
Mhm.
And one of the things that you've also been working is like giving us guidance around pre-employment training services. What's something you've learned about what type of other in addition to self-advocacy, what else do you think would benefit high school students, in particular with disabilities or with blindness? What do you think some of the other things that you've been researching will be really benefit for those individuals as they look to post-secondary education or careers.
Yeah, I think other self-advocacy is obviously very important, but also again, like the power of communication,
Mhm.
just like saying, "Hey, I need help," or I need to like maybe just like asking your roommate to like help you walk to class is like an example of good communication. And yeah, just like really just being able to talk to other people is really important. I know just like getting the real world experience again is really important for like high schoolers going into college, like whether that means just going and walking around college campuses or maybe taking like a college class. That real world experience and the preparation really just sets someone up for success, whether they're visually impaired or not.
Mhm.
But I think that it's really important to be able to have some real world experience for college, or other than that, because like college can be scary if you just jump into it
Yeah.
blind. Just having that research and that experience is really beneficial. And also being organized with whatever you do. So having goals for yourself, seeing like thinking about where you're going to see yourself in 10 years is really important, I think, for high
That's
schoolers going into college or employment in general.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's always important to set goals, have that goal, and then work towards it. And those goals are going to. Well, I think goals are often organic, right? They're going to change. They're going to adapt. But as long as you have something you're aiming towards, it's really good. And being able to open up and have that communication again. For me, it was that self disclosure, right? It's something as I hid my blindness or kept it a secret for so long. And yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of experiences I missed out on it had I been more open about it. So I think you're right. It's like self advocacy is one piece, but then that communication, effective communication,
Yeah.
and that goes both ways, right? In education and in the workplace. And so, you know, uh, as we kind of wrap up, you know, over the last couple of years, what has been something that you've really just enjoyed doing? Because I know you've been working on the YouTube channel, which we'll talk about in a second. But what other things have you been just like not necessarily with working with me, but like just in general, like the last you reflect on your high school experience. What are some of the major kind of things you've been most proud of, and you're looking forward towards, taking those learnings to the next step?
Yeah, obviously, like my work with accessibility is definitely something I'm really proud about. But in school, I would say I really enjoy just like doing things like being involved in the school. I do theater. I'm actually on my school's like theater planning committee. So that's something that I've really enjoyed all 4 years.
That's cool.
And yeah, I'm also the president of my school's Indian Student Association, which is something I've been involved with the last 3 years of high school. Honestly, it feels like it's gone by really fast, especially as like my freshman year has been virtual,
Yeah.
and just yeah, that's it's gone by pretty quickly, but it's exciting to say that we're like almost at the end.
Yeah, no, but I'd say really kind of savored this last year in high school, enjoyed that time, and and I can't wait to see where you take these your experience into the future. But as we wrap up, last thing, tell us about the YouTube channel. What should people know? And we will put a link out there for people. But tell them about the YouTube channel you've been working on.
Yeah. So one of my big projects this summer has been to create a YouTube channel for John, and especially just to for the all access videos, because some of them can be pretty long. So just condensing them into smaller pieces so people can get like get the gist of who the person is, what they really like advocate for, but like without, I guess, watching the whole entire video. Well, you
Mhm.
can always go back to John's LinkedIn if you want to watch the entire video. But yeah, just having like the small like little compilation videos. So it's the YouTube channel is under John's name, just John Samuel, or if you go by at, it's I think it's at John G Samuel.
Yeah,
So yeah, give it a subscribe. I've pretty much been working on it all summer. But yeah, it's really exciting. It's really cool to work with like it's been a great experience.
that's cool. No, I appreciate it. And that's why, I wanted to have you on because you've been working on it and I want you to be part of that. You're now part of that YouTube channel, right? Your fingerprints are all over it. And now you get to be a full interview. And, I can't reiterate how proud I am of you and how happy it has been for me to get to know you. And you've really left a mark on me and on the community. And I can't wait to see where you go. So thank you, Anagha.
Thank you, John.
All right. Thank you, Annie, for everything you do in the back end. And everyone, we will be back. I promise we'll be more consistent, but I appreciate everyone's continued support and love. And we'll see you all later. Thank you. Thanks, Anagha.